What's up, guys? This is Mark, your president of Studio 346, and today we've got a very fun vlog for you guys. It is officially the June vlog, allegedly. It's fine. We know that there were some delays involved, but here we are. Lots of life things happen that we'll get into a little bit down the road, but we've got some really cool things to show you here on Inyo today. And we're at the town of Inyo. Got lots of fun new things. We've teased a little bit, but they're all in game, they're all ready to rock, and they're all really, really cool. But, you know, rather than looking at the fun rumbly bumbly or the pew-pews, let's stare at this building first. This is a beautiful depot that is based on the depot that is from the Carson in Colorado at Laws. And it is a beautiful model made by Wings and Strings. Trying to get all of the flavors of things going on. Make sure that, you know, it feels properly like a railroad depot. It's not just a boring structure. Every little bit of it is here. From the passenger office, back office, the order boards, all that, to the freight section of things. Depots are going to be a key piece of your operation, and we want to make sure that each map has some depots that fit their proper flavor. So, one that is from the deserts of California and Nevada makes a lot of sense here on Inyo today. And it's got some fun details. So, cheers to Tom for making this fantastic model and providing so much of their own art to add in, which really helps fill it out and it feels like a real space. Up next, we have two new models to talk about, although it's two that is really technically kind of four. We have our 1026D drawing 42 and its friend the drawing 52, which have some fun differences, as well as SP's Little Giant, aka the GE 50-tonner, but it also has some 54-ton variants from US Gypsum that we will talk about and show off at another time. We're very much enjoying the SP Sunset Pacific flavor of things today with all of this, particularly given the locale that we're in here on Inyo. Here is SPNG number 9. It's the drawing 42 version of things. Take a look. Sit in the cab. I have to open all the doors and windows every time I get in the cab because, lordy. 9 is fun because it's got something new for us. An independent brake. Not on a Shay or a diesel. It's very exciting. This is an S3 style independent brake, which is very simple. You've got on, off, and that's pretty much it. So you feather it on, feather it off, and get that all set up. It also features a hydrostatic lubricator that is nice and in the way for your gauges, which is why we've also highlighted a fun new thing that we showed a little bit for patrons previously. Our patrons will note that there is a Patreon-only vlog that has come out earlier in June, and hence why this is out publicly at the same time. We wanted to make sure that content was coming out in all the places at the same time. One of the new features we added was one that really makes a lot of sense for a lot of engines, particularly engines like this, where the boiler is kind of in an inconvenient place. This locomotive's not necessarily a deckless locomotive. The boiler doesn't go all the way back through the cab, but the deck that is on this locomotive is not terribly large, and so using the arrow keys, you can now maneuver through each camera position to see whatever you might want to see. Do I need to see that pressure gauge? Yep. Do I want to see where our air is at? Yep. Okay. Well, bam, I can do that now without changing my camera position, which can be set with different number keys, as we've said before. So that's quite the handy thing, and it's a very good feature, and we've tried to figure out a good schema in terms of where to set things up for that, while keeping a homage to our favorite train sims with the keyboard controls of WASD for your Johnson bar and your throttle as well. but we wanted to make sure that you could move around and see all the things you need to see without getting physics flung out the side of the cab, which no one enjoys having that experience. So this is quite fun. The Drawing 42 model is a beautiful model made by Daniel Gallery. It's supremely cool, and the differences between it and the Drawing 52, which look like the same locomotive, but the differences really make it up, and we'll take a look at the Drawing 52 in a little bit. It's got a lot of fun things. It's got the new independent brake. It's got A1 brakes in terms of the automatic, so the first set of automatic brakes we've showed off, we've got that, but it's got a lot of fun different things going on, and it genuinely is a beautiful model, 10-wheeler, SP styled with the whaleback and all of that madness. So cheers to Daniel for making a gorgeous model. We'll talk about the customizations on the Drawing 42 and the 52 down the road as well. Aside, of course, from the Drawing 42 and 52 10-wheelers, we also have this beautiful GE 50-tonner, Little Giant, model made for us by Alec, who's now a team member. It started as a contract for Alec, and Alec decided that he wanted to join the madness and is now a member of our team. And this model is absolutely exquisite and quite a lot of fun. And yes, it's a second diesel locomotive here in Century of Steam, but it features a lot of neat things that the DL did not have, and a lot of differences between it and the DL535. So we have a lot of fun with it. Chiefly among them is that it's got a linear throttle that doesn't really have notches. The prime mover has notches. It's an air-powered throttle on the real locomotive, powered by a Caterpillar D397 prime mover. Huge thank yous out to the Northwest Railway Museum for allowing us to record their D397 prime movers in their locomotives, and for some of their folks to do the recording for us as well. It's a treat to have the correct sounds on the correct locomotive, and without their help, this could not have been possible. But the throttle is not a truly notched throttle. You can kind of float between notches and positions, but it has discrete steps at which it does rev up further, much like a notched throttle, which is very neat. It's very fun, and the sounds are just fantastic. In terms of other sounds, we've got an interesting new brake schedule, which is just about the same as 6ET. This is Westinghouse's 14EL, designed for use on diesel locomotives that had electrically governed air compressors. It's almost the same operationally as 6ET as we've seen before on the Shay, and as we'll see on the Drawing 52 10-wheeler, but it's got its own sounds. With one motion of one handle, I have triggered every volunteer at the Colorado Railroad Museum. These were recorded off of our Diesel 4, which is our Summer Ops typical locomotive, and we've all spent a lot of time in that cab before, so you gotta love that.
Hi, I'm awake now.
Yes. Goose is here, and he's excited to hear his favorite sounds from every Saturday at the museum. But it's got its own discrete set of sounds, though the function is basically the same as 6ET. Minor differences, and of course physically it looks different, but operationally it'll feel very much the same, which is quite nice. The rest of the model is also cool and features a lot of neat things. We've got a directional sand valve, forward and reverse. We have a hood hatch that can open and allow for some more cooling air. So when you kick things over this way, the front hood hatch actually opens up and allows for more cooling air to come in, which is particularly important on Inyo. So if you're running a little hot and you're worried about shutting down, you might want to open that up. If not, you might want to keep it closed. If you're running on a different map, you may not be too terribly worried about that. Other dumb things like the bonk of the GE door, all that fun. And then, of course, all of our fun gauges and bobbleheads and all that fun matter of things. It's all here. It's all simulated. A beautiful model, and it's a lot of fun to play with here, and definitely very SP flavored. Now, all that said, I think it's time for us to get out on the road and do some work with these engines, shall we? All right, well, let's kick the air off and get this thing rolling, shall we? That is a Leslie A200, recorded for us by Jam7 as well. Much appreciated to Jam. Get the throttle clicked open. Hear the contactors click as we start to load. And we're gonna get our little passenger hop to the other side of the map here, or at least the other side of the tracks that we have laid. Try and keep it generally easy through yard limits here. Do a quick rolling brake test. That all sounds good, all feels good, so let's rip the stick, shall we? Got places to be. And the places to be are over there. The other side of the little valley here in Inyo, and man, it really is a hot day out, isn't it? Lordy, you can see the heat haze on the horizon. Just a lot of fun. We've put a lot of love and care into this. Tom has done a ton of work to get the map updated and do some more with it, rather than just being a temp kind of test as it's been before. And we're getting set up for standard gauge interchange and all of that fun stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely going to be the longest map we have. You're running in a valley, you're running fast, and this is the opportunity for you speed freaks to get out and run the trains really, really quick. So, a lot of flat, a lot of straight, but you'll have turns and you will have hills, and there will be other things to deal with as well. But, oh lord, we're coming up on the first tank outside of town, and thank God we don't have to stop. We're a diesel. We won't have to deal with any of that manner of madness, so... grab a smidge of air so we don't die on the curve here. Alright, and we'll get right back into it. Oh. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, you backed up. You know what else?
Oh boy.
I think we ran out of gas.
I know what's wrong with it.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah, I think we did run out of fuel. We didn't fill up before we left Inyo, so... You know, as much as we don't need those steam engines, apparently we might actually need those steam engines. We've got the newest, latest, greatest, beautiful thing from GE, and it's got a very small fuel tank, but we, you know, didn't leave with it full, so... Lordy. And we've still got a ways to go to get to Keeler at the other end of the railroad. Wow. This is awkward.
And we're in the middle of nowhere.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not truly the middle of nowhere. It's Catalina.
This is the part where you throw the keys in the dirt.
Hit keys
and
keys,
walk away.
Keys, dirt. Where's the where's somebody? Somebody save me! Somebody save me! Yeah, something like that. I guess while we're here, we could look at this other thing. This is the thing that we've shown off a little bit on another vlog, but we didn't get to show this variant of it, which is the variant that I know and love so well. This is our DNRG High Side Gun, another model made by Daniel Gallery. Previously, only the 40-inch sides were in-game, but now we've got the 50-inch sides all set up and working, and yeah, it's a fun time. Big gondola, and it's a fun thing. So we can stare at this while we wait for rescue. It is a pretty gondola, but I don't know. Hopefully we get rescued one of these days. Where's the... Oh, there it is. Hey, look, SP-18's gonna come rescue us. Kind of like that. Well, we should probably not go through the crossover at, you know, 30 mile an hour. It'll be fine. Coming on in. Lordy, it is a hot day, isn't it? Here she is to save the day, and sounds like the fire could use some attention, honestly. Speaking of fire, that's been a fun new thing this month. Big amount of what we've spent a lot of time on, and our patrons will know from the patron-only devlog that we shot and posted a little bit earlier, was oil burning sim things. It was very work in progress then, and it's still got a little bit more to go. Sanding flues is not yet a mechanic, but it will be quite shortly. But we have oil firing, and as well, it informs our thermodynamic sim, and it also has UI now. We definitely want to take another look at our UI here, going through all of the different stuff, but we can go through and do whatever we want with our oil burner now. So if we want to make the black smoke happen real fast, we've got the power. So the UI shows your oil valve, your atomizer, your dampers, your blower. It shows you what the current draft the locomotive has is, and as well how efficient your fire is, which is something that we've definitely been working on. The effects of the oil burning system, whether you're looking at the fire door in the cab or the stack, are good enough, especially in my opinion, that you can fire it like a real locomotive and just go based on those responses, but that's also kind of a lot, especially for those that don't necessarily know how to fire. So we've got the efficiency readout here, but one thing that we're also talking about doing that we want to take a little time to refine before we show anything off like that is to have a easeability UI that shows underneath our readouts of percentages here just exactly what the control's doing and how much it's helping you, and whether you've got it too high or too low, and giving you a region so you can kind of learn without the special effects and everything, because we think it's really important that everyone gets a shot at this if they want to learn to fire, all that, and it'll hopefully be a great way for you to learn and figure it out. But you can see right now, my efficiency is 3%. I'm really nailing it. You can also see our sight glass readout and then our total water percent. We also have an easy buttons to run the injectors. You just press the button and they run, which is a lot easier than dealing with real lifting injectors, but definitely something for ease of use with the UI if you're playing in third person, that kind of thing. Wanted to make sure it was there. While we're talking about injectors, these SP engines are equipped with monitor type injectors, which are interesting in a different setup than what we've shown before, where they've got a water valve, a priming valve, and as well the steam valve. And so these are actually a lot easier to deal with in some ways than the lifting injectors we've shown previously, where you kind of had to fight them, and I shouldn't have passed the water plug that I'd passed in our previous long March video. But you kick a little steam on, you bring open the priming valve, and it'll prime right away with that priming valve. That's the whole point. And so you can just get set up, alright, run it, and you close the priming valve and let it go, and you can trim the water with the water valve as you please. So, a different type of injector, and it's one that you're going to have to consider when you're purchasing your locomotives in the game. What kind of injectors do you want to run if you're playing on that difficulty? Of course, if you want to just have, hey, water go in boiler, sometimes that's what you need. There it is. Very easy and fantastic to have that kind of thing. Now, oil firing you really have to balance all of your different things. You have the amount of fuel going to the fire with the oil valve, which, if you get after it a little too much, is when you get black smoke. If you let it die back too far, you can actually have the fire go out, which is not great. And that is simulated, by the way. So your controls on your oil burners will default to a low spot fire where the fire won't go out on you. But if you work the engine too hard, or you have the firing valve too far, down for the draft condition, the fire will get sucked out, and you will not have any more fire, and then you have to relight off the brick, which has some consequences depending on how much oil you've had. So if we clear things out real fast, you can hear that our fire is no longer burning despite me having the oil valve wide open. That's not great. Hang on. I've got a lot of oil pooling up in there. The residual soot's coming out the stack with the heat. Maybe try and clear it a little bit, see if that's fine. We need to bring the atomizer back up. Okay. Gotta have... Oh! Hey, look, it relit! Nailed it.
There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom!
Something like that. So with oil, if you relit off the brick, which every manual in the world will tell you not to do, but everyone who's ever fired oil will tell you that they've done it, you have to relight things off of the still hot fire brick. If I jump in the cab here, you'll see at our peephole, we still got a glow in the fire. We still have some amount of heat in there. Everything's kind of red hot. And so you need to get the oil set just right and the atomizer set just right, and it'll wake up and relight the fire. So depending on how much oil you've pulled up in your firebox, you'll get various effects. So if you just haven't really run any oil, you'll just get a cute little relight like that. If you get a big giant pile of oil, black smoke, my favorite. If you get a ton of oil in there and then you bring it back, you really wake it up in a very explosive manner. You get fire out the sides of the dampers, fire all around the engine, fire out the fire door, and fire out the stack. And that was one of the more fun things I've gotten to simulate recently. So
Steam locomotive Taco Bell farts.
It's the steam locomotive Taco Bell farts, which this engine does even more of, that we can definitely show off with the oil burning. But the whole point of oil firing here is you got to be right with the engineer, which makes it a fun challenge for me to present this devlog and run and fire at the same time. But the general thought and consensus is, hey, bring up the oil, fire with the engine based on its draft, with how hard the engine's working, and be ahead of the engineer. So you're going to want to be really tied in with your other folks and making things work when you're doing this. But that said, we've got to run to Keeler still. We've got a diesel that is dead over here that we need to get out the way. So I guess we'll hop up here and make sure its air is kicked off. And we'll grab it here and set it over and leave it for dead, because we don't need the diesel, the newest, latest, and greatest. Now, how about a steam engine? I like steam engines. All right, so we're gonna start moving and switching. So I'm gonna bring the oil up, the atomizer up. I'm gonna kick my blower off. I don't need my dampers near that open because we're switching.
Yeah, so the hard part with oil firing is coal fire, solid fuels, you're generally more proactive as a fireman. You have to know the railroad, you have to plan ahead and, be about 2 to 5 minutes ahead, depending on the road. But with oil, you have to both know the railroad and basically be staring at your engineer the whole time. If they rip out on the throttle, you've got to rip out on the oil. If they shut it real quick, you've got to close it real quick.
And you can see how dynamic it is, where, oh, look, we went from black smoke to gray smoke, and now we're going back to black smoke, and if I leave the oil valve too far down and I really rip on it, it will kill the fire, so...
It's not really a sit there and watch the engine while you're switching compared to something like coal.
Right. Oh, man, here I was thinking I was just pontificating. I actually did suck the fire out. Hey, look. And our sight glass is also empty, so we're going to have to deal with that in a second here, but... Hey, there we are. Woke it up. Let's get some water going in here. We'll get some blower going and bring the controls up. You can see that efficiency. It tells you immediately where your controls are. Like, alright, that's too much oil, that's not enough oil. That's a little bit more... Okay, a little more atomizer is what it wants. Alright. And it'll really make steam if you really get after it. And you'll find that... just like that. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We hear you, 18. We get it. We get it. There's, your safety's lifting. It's very cute. Would you like to shut up, please?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Pretty much. Hey, there we go. Now we can talk again. Yay. You might find while firing that you have to keep a slightly dirty stack in order to make pressure, depending on how the engine's set up and everything. But typically you want to go for the slightest haze possible. So whether or not you're seeing your efficiency down there of just how much could I be making, that's one thing. But also what the stack is showing you is going to tell you everything. So let's get this thing set over. It's pulled away there. All right. Rip the stick and go, baby. Kill the blower. Alright, that'll do.
The other very fun thing with oil firing compared to coal is you saw how quickly the pressure came up because oil is about 50% more energy dense than bituminous coal on average.
Oil's ridiculous. Yeah, you can really generate a lot of heat. Oh, gosh darn.
Absurd.
I want to do some kicking.
Kicking? I want to do some kicking.
Go away. It would help if I lined...
You just put that back on the same track.
Yes, I did. That's why it knew what was going on. It's fine. Let's catch it before we destroy the passenger cars. Got it. Nailed it. Alright. How's the fire doing? Oh my god, we have so much water. Yeah, this is why brakeman, engineer, firemen are all different roles. I needed to do a blowdown, alright?
Yeah, the TDS were a little high.
Exactly. There we go. Let's get this thing kicked.
Kicking? Oh, I want to do some kicking. But for real this time.
Better go catch the diesel before it runs off the other end of the siding.
Shut up. Alright? We'll get there. I promise. Alright, back to the steam chooch. Keep it rolling. Pick up these cars and we'll finish our run to Keeler here. We gotta do some switching. Now that we've seen some fun oil burning things. Oh god. That's fine. Bang. Alright. Off to Keeler we go. You can see as the draft picks up, the smoke in the cab starts to dissipate. Ooh. And you get the spicy fire on the fire door, depending on what you got going on. And as well, you'll get smoke out and fire out the damper, which you can see tucked behind the rear driver there.
Fiery poops.
The fiery poops. And it'll still groan like a coal burner will, too. Here's Keeler. '18 is a wiggly choo-choo, as it were. And we've tried to simulate that the best we can. She bounces all over the place. As we go down the railroad here. Alright, we're gonna Y this thing before we head back to Inyo. And we'll dial all that madness back because we overdid it for a brief second there. How's our sight glass looking? Still totally plugged full. Got it. It's fine. Yeah, we overdid it a little bit there.
How much more you want? All of it.
Alright, let that come to a stop there, and we'll get the Y lined while we bring it back. And then we'll pick up our boxes and move on while we talk about some of the cool things industry-wise going on here on Inyo, as well as some of the drawing 42 and 52 differences. Bring her back. Wait on the tail of the Y here. For our good-eared listeners who have been listening to all of my fun chuff sounds, this is a new set of chuffs for the game. Thankfully recorded at the Puffing Billy Railway, who were very kind and let me stick some cameras on one of their NA Class 262s. 30-inch gauge, not necessarily prototypical, of course, for our game here, but when comparing SP18 operation footage to anything else, the NA class is actually a very similar sounding engine. So I cut up a set of chuffs and got it all done and happy, and it's neat. It's a very good sounding set, and with each set I've done, I've gotten better at making the sounds happen, and I'm really pleased with this one. So huge thanks to Puffing Billy for that. It was a lot of fun. That video will still come out on the Heist channel one of these days when I get to editing it. But been a little busy with all this madness, of course. And the drawing 52 versus the drawing 42 in terms of our 10-wheelers here. You know, it's a 1026D, just like the 1026D you saw in the trailer originally, but not exactly, right? This is, of course, Baldwin's schema for things. 1026D gives you the sizing and specifications for the cylinders themselves. And in our case, the pressure is a lot higher with these more modern engines. Rather than 130 psi, these engines lift at 180. And so you can have quite a bit more power out of a small package with these more modern 1026s than the ones we've shown off before. Versus the drawing 42 and 52, we've got different valve gear and different cab positions. This drawing 52, 18 right here, has got It's making pressure too quickly. Shut up, please. Has Walschert's valve gear, which has been thoughtfully and lovingly animated by Daniel, and you can see how it adjusts the position of the valve when you go through the travel, whether it go full reverse or towards full forwards, where the radius rod drops, which is very fun to see. We've seen that on the Mason Bogie before, but it's nice to have it on a more conventional locomotive. The Drawing 42 has Stevenson gear, so it's internal valve gear rather than external. So it makes for a very different appearance, of course, but still quite fun. And as well, the lap and lead of those valve gears are different. And operationally, that will make them feel slightly different because your minimum lap and your minimum lead are different between the engines. So you can run Stevenson closer to center, particularly when worn out, than Walschert's. And that's all simulated. We had a fun viewer mentioning that and asking if they'd be able to tell, and whether or not you're able to tell is up to you. I can barely tell myself, but it's not often that you get to run the same engine with a different valve gear in these parts, so that's just kind of the nature of the game and the way it be. Now that we're letting 18 go off to the races here, we want to pick up that set of cars first. I don't think I'll let those... The passenger cars might get in the siding, but I just kind of wanted to gather those and drop them behind our other cars here so we can make our pickups at the same time before we head back to Inyo proper. Alright, here we go. Backing into the siding here at the Sierra Talc Company. Just going to be a key industry on Inyo for you. Talc, of course, being a very big industry in this part of the world. And I wanted to note at this point, as we're backing into an industry and picking up things, that previously our last big vlog, a full day on the railroad in Keystone, which was way too much fun. We talked about the next big vlog covering more industry things, and unfortunately a number of things happened between then and now that changed our plans and delayed the vlog and everything, as you've maybe seen posts on Patreon. I personally had a member of my family pass away, and so did our project manager Tristan, which was unfortunate for the both of us, of course, and spending time with loved ones was important, and not worrying about project things on top of day jobs and all that was kind of key. And so, you know, we hate to pause patron funding and all that and not get a video out for you guys, but it was important to spend time with our loved ones in those moments and make sure that everyone else is doing all right with all that. So we had to take that little break there as well, also delaying our progress, but for much more happy reasons. Our project manager Tristan, not me. I know that Tom's post led everyone to believe it was me. No, I did not have a kid, but Tristan did. And one of our towns here on Inyo is named for her. So it's been wonderful to hear and see all of the exciting, good new things as fatherhood begins for one of my dearest friends. But it has meant that for a good portion of the last 6 or so weeks, there's not been enough time to work on the video game. So what are you going to do? But as we've all told him, him becoming a father is much more important than getting industry UI things done. So unfortunately today, because of all those things, we don't have a fun new industry UI to show you. It's gotten so much progress. It's so much further down the road. We're really excited to talk about how it works and show it off, but it's not quite there yet. So these cars are loaded. That's that. We're going to pick them up and head our way back. That said, this industry is one of the new structures made by Tom. And it is such a cool structure based on a real industry from the SP narrow gauge. It's just absolutely cool. a beautifully done building, and this is kind of showing off the structure at its biggest size. We are going to have multiple levels of industries. This is our level 3 industry. This is as big as they get, and that's when you're going to have the most loads in, the most loads out. And the player will be able to purchase and upgrade industries a la Railroad Tycoon 3, as we've talked about in our retrospective. So if you want to get more loads to a specific place, that's a fantastic way to do business if you've got the capital to purchase something like that. So, of course, more on that, how that works, how industry loading, unloading, all of that 9 yards is going to work, will be down the road. But, of course, with all of the busyness that happened and the things that you plan for, like a brand new baby, and the things that you can't plan for, it's been a time for us the last couple weeks. So we appreciate everyone's understanding, and we want to show you guys that side of things as soon as we can. We're supremely excited about it, and it's a bummer that we weren't able to show it this time around. But at the same time, all the fun oil burning things, all the fun structures, that's a good manner of fun over there. So I'm gonna get this backed in, and we're gonna bang into the rest of our train, and we're gonna head back for home with all that we have here. And as well, there's still more structures yet to talk about that we haven't gotten to, but I'm going to focus on banging into these cars real quick. Looks like our water's come back down from orbit down to a kind of reasonable level here. We got 2/3 towards half of a sight glass on the level, which you can see varies greatly with the slosh of things as the water moves around in the boiler. You can see my fire efficiency is garbage because I don't have hardly any drafts while we're not working the engine. Bring up a little blower, get things set up. You want the dampers to match the draft. You want everything else to match the draft. And the oil valve and the atomizer valve, you really want to keep down in the basement to some extent. So keep this thing working now. Bang into our boxcars for Pride Month here. We were originally hoping to have this vlog out in June, but again, it required a little bit of extra time with all the things that were mentioned. And now we'll bang into these refrigerator cars. Gently, gently, gently. There we go. Gotta love a OPE reefer, kind of like a Pacific Fruit Express homage there. Tom's
it's a PFE
done
reefer, but from the Midwest.
Correct. Got lots of fun homages to things here, copyright and all that fun stuff. So here's our SP, of course, Sunset Pacific. If you thought it was anything else the entire time, regret to misinform you that it's not the way it is. Anyway, I'm almost up to full pressure here, so I'm gonna drop things back, dial it back. Though we're gonna want MAWP heading back because though it's flat, this is a pretty sizable train. And what a cool one! Big boxcar block, the combine, the comboose, and then our tank car that we brought with us. So we'll make the hook here. Come on, keep working, sweetie. You can see the stat clean up as the draft increases, and then as I drop it back, it dirties up a little bit, but we don't have hardly any fire going in, so it's not much. Good dunk. There it is. Set up our independent here. Make sure it all stops, and then I'm going to Control-Shift-Click on my angle cocks and brake hoses here. And we'll get all the air laced in on the train. Hop back up on the head end here. And it's time to head back for home. Alright, here we go. Throttle on the ceiling. Oil valve up, right, nice and quick. Same with the atomizer. Blower off, dampers open. That's a little dirty on the stack. Dial it back just a smidgen. Cleans up pretty nice. And we'll start hooking the bar back. And our Johnson bar is notched, by the way, so that it does click into those notches, which is a fun difference between engines. Water's pretty low on the glass, so I'm going to kick on some steam, open the prime valve, get the injector running, close the prime valve. Throttle's on the ceiling. Got it hooked up pretty nice. You can see the draft has decreased a little bit while we're at it, and some serious black smoke going on there, so even some in the cab too. Let's dial things back a little bit. Probably need to dial back the dampers too. That's looking a lot better. We'll take that. Yep, we're making steam.
Hey, you think we forgot a switch?
Touch purple, touch purple, touch purple, touch purple, touch purple.
I think that's a perfectly good end to a vlog, honestly.
I wanted to say something, but I was like,
Theo! Use your outside voice next time!
oh no. Well, I saw the red target, and this is like, was he paying attention?
Did I cover all the topics? Can we end there?
Yeah, I think we can end there. Look at the whole wreck, it's cool.
It is. Alright. Well, in other news, I'm really good at checking my switches, and with our point switches, you know, life be a thing. So, we've thoughtfully wrecked our SP engine right next to our new SP water tower and pump house made by Tom. It's gorgeous and fun, and oil burning's quite a lot of fun, but presenting and firing at the same time leads to consequences that should be unsurprising. Man.
Oh no! If it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Yeah.
Oh no! Anyway, off week.
So, we hope you guys enjoyed this look at the revamped Inyo with all the work that Tom's done with the structures, the towns, and of course a little bit of fun running with our engines, seeing the Drawing 42, the Drawing 52, which will be showing off their customizations very soon here as well. Hope you enjoyed a look at oil burning and you know, the kabooms associated with, and well, we hope you enjoyed the mess that I've made, because yep, what else is new? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for supporting us. To our patrons, we appreciate your support and love. Note most videos come out a month early for our patrons, but this one's coming out all at the same time, all for the public, knowing that we had an extra vlog come out that was just for patrons only this past month. And we apologize on the delay, but we're excited to show off Industries in the coming months with some more exciting things down the road. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate your love and support. And we'll see you all next time where hopefully I will stay on the rails.
I wouldn't count on it.